Welcome, everyone, to Stone Soup Poetry in 2026. My name is Chad. It has been 7 days into the new year, and I've already put the wrong date on all of my time-stamped poems, photos. I've had to go back and change the 5 to a 6, and the flyer for Richard Spizak's feature on the 21st was originally published as being on January 21st, 2025. Eh, So, which I quickly, as soon as like within minutes after I saw it, just changed all the photos on the Facebook post. Thankfully, you can do that and not have to delete the entire post. That trick has saved me numerous times. And I actually felt sad and angry because Neil Silberblatt of the Voices of Poetry forum was usually the first to call out that shit and slut shame me for a typo. And he passed away last year, and now there's no one to do it. And I'm just like, fine, I'll be pissed at myself and call myself bad names more loudly than usual. Death is strange. You don't know who you miss until they're gone. We will. What is that? Oh, I see. Oh, very nice. I see a Manchester. Is this the poetry
Yeah,
open mic that?
that's the one that I host. Yeah, we have a band called the Blue Suburban Sky next week on January
Very
14th.
cool. Record some of your music on YouTube. I'd love to hear.
It's not mine, it's somebody else. It's somebody else.
Oh, gotcha.
That,
Okay,
that's
well,
the
excellent. We have many open mics already starting up in January. Publications are finishing up their calls for submissions for winter issues. If you have a chance, you should submit in the next 1 to 2 days to the Sensibility Haiku Haiku website web journal held up by Patricia Kerrigan. She holds a submission. She holds it basically until for seven. It's basically the last 7 days, but she says it's either until the 15th or until I get enough, and she usually has enough by day 4. So the theme of the issue is love versus hate. So send your pieces after this reading immediately. Going going to onto the open mic. We do have features coming up. I think we have one confirmed feature for the 28th, or at least one that'll be confirmed later on tonight. And we also have our feature for the 21st, which is Richard Spizak. More to be announced. We have at least one confirmed March feature and one confirmed feature for all the way in May. So with more to come. So I'm very excited about that. But let's celebrate the open mic that we have here now with the company we have now. I'd like to bring up first, for the first time in 2026, after a 2 week hiatus, let's welcome up Rita Rusty Rose. Welcome back.
Thank you. Happy 2026. I'm going to start with the poem about a friend I reunited with after 60 years. So the piece is called Reunited for Chris Thompson. Youthful years passed since Christy and Rusty partied hardy in Washington Square Park and on to the Stonewall Inn. She with her puffed afro, silver African queen bangles, and black power buttons. Me with hippie threads, fringe moccasins, and pin-on make love, not war buttons. Who would have thought from a serendipitous meeting a friendship would blossom? I was shaking a tambourine, belting out tunes between arch and fountain, when Christy sang along, Vinny toe tap, Marcia danced, and Sylvia dropped spare change into my felt hat. That very night, Marcia went uptown. Sylvia sat at a tranny bar off the square. I, Vinny, and Christy got down at the bar. We were there when it devolved into chaos. Since then, springtime went wayside, yielded into autumn. Fortunately, pride sought and brought us together. Nowadays, old friends are no longer, yet Christy and I remain tight. We jingle tambourines while singing nostalgic tunes, and often we muse about the bittersweet past, our shared history gone by. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Up next, I'd like to see if Jan Rose is available to read, as according to the Ramdonator 5000, and not just my half-tired whims and wills.
Um, this was actually written during that workshop we had because I had to submit it to the Black Seed Writers because I was trapped on a train with students. It was so when I got to the writers group, it was over. I was in time for meditation and singing, but so I had to submit something. And I wrote this during the workshop. And when I was stuck on that train, because I had tried to volunteer at that school, I did my dozen years of teaching, because I had just seen Jack and the Beanstalk, which can be very bloody and violent. I don't know if you're aware of Jack and the Beanstalk. This kid across was, as we're stuck, 5 minutes at each stop, saying, "What's fa la 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 mean?" And then this kid next to me starts to sing "Ring Around the Rosie." So it was quite interesting. This is what I wrote during the workshop. More mine owners' greed. On Wednesday mornings, clergy and activists go to Burlington Mall, a bus ride from Elway, to an ICE office, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Juan David reported there as ordered and was subsequently hauled out of there in one of 4 vehicles with dark windows. Juan David, his crime? He objected to mining corporation executives in Ecuador being willing to sacrifice trapped miners, let them die down there. Due to money, cost outweighed miners' lives. That's now. So a couple decades ago, a couple dozen miners were trapped in Chile, if you'll recall. Rescuers were amazed when a note came back on the tip of a drill bit, a note indicating they were alive at a cost about 20 million a couple decades ago, and the company paid a third of that 20 million. They were rescued with Canadian and United States technology. Successful rescue due to advanced mining technology. In 1907, Monongah, West Virginia, about 500 men and children. They thought 360, now they know it was 500. Men and children died in the mine. There was no advanced technology. A great grandfather, Andrew Duff, went to help. He was freed from a East Chevington, England pit in 1910. He was a fire boss. He decided if the mine was safe to work. So he had a lot of jobs because the mine owners might not like that he thought the mine wouldn't be worked. Well, anyway, so a century later, this is 2007, the mine at Monongah, West Virginia was opened to reveal about 71 miners sitting in orderly rows awaiting their rescue that never came. No technology. So the workers, they may have won like a second exit from the mine. So there used to be one. But what's 500 lives? So now the workers they may have, I mean, now as if hiding Juan David will erase how these mining corporations people value money over life. Thank you. Ah.
Thank you, Jan. I'd like to bring it over now to Mr. Richard Spizak. Check out his work in Oddball Magazine this past Monday.
Thank you so very much, my friends. I'll read this one. It's called U.S. Proclaims Hate is Great. Let me restate. No truth tellers should apply. They're just not our kind of guy. Propaganda. Ours can't withstand the reprimand of truth. Puts us off our game. Let me reframe. And why? To force us to respond to the crack of a yawning gap of the crap we spew. It's not me. It's you. Truth tellers, you home wreckers, we have our luscious brushes of hate, our revisionist version. It's the new surgery state. Truth is, hate is in our employ. You'll have to distinguish, otherwise we'll be diminished. The past, at last, is our toy. The trajectory of the rectification of the past just really won't last. We've revised what we say of the past. We're a bumper crop of lies. It's just our little disguise. Your corrections in connection with our legendary claims, we will not tolerate. Our borders to you are inviolate. You're just a devious, mischievous ingrate. Even limiting our truthing inside your borders collides with our tribe, gives us the heebie-jeebies and behives, causes grievous disorders if you want to cross our borders. And if you got heaps of cash, of course, you can crash our gates of the hate state. Just sign here, no icky quality here. If you ain't white, take your seat in the back if you're brown or black. It's not about color. Oh, gosh and golly, that's the other fellow's folly. We're pristine and profound. We just don't track us down where the funny money will eventually be found. Those think tanks with black checks aren't buying democracy. The level of democracy and mimicry, we bankroll hysterics. See, they shout the doubt of science, and necessary obligatory violence is just a side effect. Yeah, your press is wrecked, and we may neglect to observe. Look over there at those curves. Our distracted driver swerves, bumping over democracy's curves. And as for standing in the lanes, we may have to redraw the lines and pick the privileged voters to whom we'll resort. It's kind of a sport. We'll hear for free speech. Our hate speech must reach. It's our favorite beach. Capiche? We teach. Brown is down. White is bright. Educating our betters is our divinest right. We got the best bullets. You got to agree. Our AI robot dogs will chase you right up a tree. And this teaching in schools to discern what props out of propaganda, we would have you learn. Once we were a force for good. Liberty was the light in our neighborhood, but now our corporate overlords do rule. In reality, yourself has succumbed to misrule. Don't be a fool. Profits are up. Just drink from our cup. Yeah, it does taste kind of funny, but that does make us money. Once George Washington denounced and refused the crown, but this group of grubbers and robbers have made it their goal and passed the glass to their thinking, the tinkling, I got an inkling they wanted on their head. Even now, it's over and over. It's just what they said. So, Happy New Year. Hate is great. The truth tellers need not apply. But I'll have another anecdote later, so. Thank you, my friends. Happy New Year to you. Seriously. We have to maintain civil society.
Thank you, Richard. More where that came from on the 21st. For now, let's go to Jackie Chow.
Hello. Okay, I'll read two new poems. The first one is an I Am From poem. It's called Heritage. I am from unpierced ears, a lifelong fear of sharp objects. I am from mandatory blood work, a heart that won't stop pounding, white coat phobia. I am from hypertension, a father who died from a stroke, falling down a flight of stairs when my stepmom railed at him. I am from a mother who bullied anyone with a mild temperament, my father, myself, but not my sister, who has fierce claws, born in the year of the tiger. Okay, the next one is it's an I Remember poem, Remembrances. I remember Beauty and the Beast puzzle in my cabinet. That was a door prize from a sorority rush. I remember my glinting eyes and hair, my cheerleader body that would have made me a perfect fit for Delta. I remember the cushioned chair by my wooden desk where I sat all day buried in my books. I remember the Daily Trojan, yellow and brittle now, I picked up on my way to class, my name on the dean's list. I remember a clinical trial I took part in on second language acquisition in the psychology department. I remember the piercing gazes of the Delta sisters whenever I passed them by the Tommy Trojan. I remember uh, dark apartments shared with random roommates where I pondered belonging somewhere.
Thank you so much, Jackie. And now, if he is willing and able, let's go to Mr. Bill Lewis.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. Oh, it's so exciting to have another new year and we made it and all sorts of good things. May I have sharing permission, good sir? Let's see. And there we go. Oh, yeah. Sharing permission?
Chad, you're talking, but you're muted.
Yeah, my controls are wonky. Give me 1 second. Here we go.
Oh,
Okay, should work now.
okay. Let's try this. There we go. Momentichku. So, in response to your question, John, my friend and professor Doug Hofstetter wrote a wonderful translation of Eugene Onegin, a novel in verse by Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin, and he did autograph this one for me. Check that out. How cool is that? Doug learned Russian ostensibly just to translate this poem. He did not speak Russian before this. And so I'm just really cool and psyched. So there it is, and his artistic work, and I love this guy, and blah, 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 blah. And let's go back, stop share, go there, go there, and there, and there. There we go. Oh, I was gonna like read something, wasn't I? Let me go read something. So when we last left our adventure, we have our dear friend Yuri, who is half Estonian, half Russian. He lives in Tallinn, the capital of Estonia, and he does not have the best of life. The other boys are kind of mean to him, and his father just got arrested for beating up a couple of Russian boys who wrote nasty things about the singing revolution. So his father is a strong communist, but he's a noble man and gets drunk and gets into fights and divorce. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that Yuri went to his school, Gustav Adolf, which had been founded by the Swedish king 300 years ago and was considered one of the best schools in the country. There were not many Russians there, so Yuri felt himself particularly isolated. He really had no friends. Getting to school safely was an art. If he arrived too early, There was the danger that Carl would find his coat in the cloakroom and do something to it. Yuri had found any number of unpleasant things in his coat pockets. Arriving too late would get him in trouble with his teachers. There was also the danger of meeting Carl or several of the other students on the way to school. As long as there were grown-ups around, he was safe, but the last few hundred meters were the most dangerous. Each day, Yuri carefully chose a different route, hoping to avoid trouble. This time, Yuri chose the most direct route down Puhanavamu, past the old church by the same name with a big clock on the wall. He could estimate his time more easily this way, lingering at the corner if it was too early. Then he would choose up Peak past the Russian embassy and his favorite cafe, or right down Peak to a cross street over a long open space with few grown-ups. Yuri looked behind him and then peered down Peak, left and right, looking for the tall pointed cap that Carl always wore. It looked safe, just a bunch of other students who didn't bother him. He hurried down the street. He was halfway there before he noticed Heli and Imre watching him. Tere tere, Yuri, Heli said as she and Imre hustled him around the corner into an empty courtyard. It's so cold to us, we purred. It's so cold for us, she purred. We're not used to really cold winters like in Moscow. My hands are frozen already. The two girls were the same age as Yuri, but almost twice as big. We need a hot Russian butt to keep us warm, she continued, as she shoved her hands down the back of his pants. Oh, you're so hot, Yuri. You're burning my hands. Oh, I'm burning up. Yuri stood glued to the spot, overcome by the excitement of her hands on his butt. I'll save you, Imre exclaimed as she dumped a pile of snow down his pants. The two girls roared with laughter. Try to keep cool, Yuri. They ran out of the courtyard, laughing as they went. Yuri was burning all over. He clawed as much snow as he could out of his pants and jumped up and down, trying to shake the rest of it out the bottoms. He couldn't decide if he hated her because she was mean or if he loved her because she touched his butt. It was so exciting for her to grab him there. After another shake, he tucked in his shirt and continued the rest of the way to school. He had gotten out enough that it didn't look like I had wet his pants. During classes, which he was never very interested in, he had the time to think about how we would escape from school. If he was lucky, he would get out a little bit after Carl and his friends, and he would be able to watch them and choose a different direction. If he weren't lucky, he'd have to guess and take his chances. In either case, Yuri would then have to figure out how to get to his refuge in secret, and of course there was always the challenge of finding a spoon. The spoon hunt, he called it. He was like a lonely hunter in the cold, cruel world. He had to select a kolvik, get his drink, and then corner a table that someone was leaving, and it had to be someone who had been drinking coffee, someone who had had a spoon. Then, without anyone noticing, he had to get the spoon off the table and safely into one of his hiding places. His sock, the spine of his book, the hollowed-out rim of his cap. There were a dozen places Yuri could hide a spoon. Sometimes he lay awake at night, dreaming of ways to capture spoons and secret them away. In 2 years, he'd never been caught. And I will leave that for the moment.
One more serialized story to keep the open mic going, and for 2026, very good. Speaking of serialized stories, I wonder if we're going to hear the beginning of another one. Let's bring up now Mr. John Wizik.
Hello. I consume multitudes. Are baby boomers problematic? Very well then, I delight in your scorn. I shun choir, pep rallies, and letter jackets. I am a night owl, a free thinker. I consume multitudes. My bones, my every atom of flesh, formed from Swanson TV dinners, Salisbury steak, chicken parmesan, turkey with sweet potatoes, stuffing, gravy, enchiladas with rice and beans, baked at 350 degrees for 30 minutes and served in aluminum trays, unless I crave lasagna, which takes an hour. Chex Mix, cheese, curls, Reese's peanut butter cups, fluorescent yellow Mountain Dew. I hear celebrities talking when Ed McMahon bellows, "Here's Johnny," when Karnak the Magnificent wears a turban big as a truck tire, when Art Fern warns, "Do not take the Slauson cut off," when stage lights gleam from Don Rickles' dome, when George Carlin gives tonight's forecast, dark, when Peter Ustinov strokes his beard, when Bob Newhart's staffs dial an atheist, when Buddy Hackett, Alan King, Dick Cavett, Sherry Lewis, George Siegel, and Florence Henderson charm and amaze between commercials. Who is Corbett Monica anyway? Hurrah for science fiction! Long live the monster movie! Pivot the rabbit ears! Tune the TV to UHF! This is the nuclear physicist! This is the exobiologist! These sailors pilot a nuclear sub while the sky burns! This paleontologist finds dinosaurs in the Amazon! These geologists discover civilizations under the earth! This crime fighter flies a jetpack. These robot assassins explode. This Englishman invented anti-gravity paint. These aliens control astronauts' minds. This family survives a nuclear war. This energy-hungry robot tears down power lines. This alien offers Earth salvation. Will a test pattern and national anthem finally send me to bed? Sleep! Who needs sleep when Mr. Big breaks James Bond's finger and a shark devours Felix Leiter's arm in the withered yellowed pages of a 50-cent paperback, when a lunar prison colony revolts, when an earthling raised by Martians makes Jubal Horshaw his water brother, when Lazarus Long inhabits a woman's body, when nuclear war catapults survivors into a dystopian future. As for you, sleep, you belong in daytime. While I slumber, I leave parodies of childhood pop culture, as laughter and courage will be good health to you. But I will not sleep now, for Captain America, Incredible Hulk, and Mighty Thor cartoons begin at dawn.
I'm gonna follow that. Let's bring up next Miss Anna Jeffrey.
Hello, hi. Some of you were here earlier and heard that I asked for some prompts. Guess who's got new shit?
Atarashi Tawaguchi.
This is one of the ones that John Wessick gave me, and the title of this poem, for now, since it is brand new, is Queries in the Ether. If a galaxy fails to spark a single star, is it a failure or an acne-free face in a sea of colliding teenagers? If an amino acid forms in deep space, does it taste like raspberry mist? If we find Cloud9 and paint it pink, do you think prayers could be directed to its depths like an intergalactic mecca? Or would we be venerating Barbie's undecorated dream cosmos, Booba's primordial hydrogen abode? If twins separated at birth both spin, top, and strange, and the vial of poison in the box were to break, would they flip at a distance? Would the shockwaves unravel their entanglement? Would a decoherence failure cascade till every tangled string was unmade? Is something that grows and moves and dies alive if it bequeaths its atomic estate to something more complex in its wake? Is a black hole a kind of a seed planted in four-dimensional firmament, sprouting in a direction material eyes can't see? If a wave function collapses in the forest, does it make a sound? And thank you to John for the if a wave function collapses in the forest, does it make a sound? Which is an excellent punchline. Thank you.
It's the fastest completed prompt I've ever seen. Quite impressive. I'd like to bring up if I didn't ask him directly if he was going to be performing, but I hope he does. Mr. Ethan Mackler with a little musical interlude.
Did you just throw a fish at him? John!
I didn't throw a fish. Oh, he threw an iguana, an alligator, a guitar. I guess I'll keep going. But I want to know if Silent E herself would be interested in reading now, as we're getting to the end of the open mic.
Hi
You'd ask,
everyone.
hello.
Can you guys
Woohoo!
hear me?
Perfectly.
I can do a reading. Um, what would you guys like to hear? Any topic in particular? I could do a freestyle. I could do something that I've already written. Any requests
I'll put one for freestyle.
for freestyle? Okay. Um, let me see. All right, y'all ready? Let me just record this. Because now I gotta go back and hear what I sound like. Um, The holidays are over, and for some reason, I get a sense of relief anytime December 26th hits. Something about the last 6 days of the year that allows me to sit and reflect. The Christmas lights are still up, and they're still pretty, but because the pressure is off, I can enjoy them for what they are, which are just beautiful, colorful lights. I have never been a holiday person. I feel like it insists upon itself. Songs about inanimate objects like Frosty and Rudolph and Santa. And by the way, when are we going to admit that Santa on any other day would be charged with stalking? I mean, he sees you when you're sleeping and knows when you're awake. Isn't that criminal behavior? He gets to go down your chimney and drop off gifts. Last time I checked, that's called breaking and entering. But nonetheless, if I say this during the month of December, I sound like a Grinch, so I keep these thoughts to myself. But let me tell you about the relief that I feel when the holidays are over. Like I can breathe again, like a fresh wind of air, although it is still winter, reality sets in. We are not skipping off to the North Pole. The North Pole, Santa doesn't live here. All we have are neighbors, family, and friends who are going over the credit card debt of money that they shouldn't have spent. How are we giving gifts to each other when technically it's Jesus's birthday anyway? December has never been my month. It has never been kind to me. It is a reminder that the year has worn me out and I cannot wait for it to be over. Although the last 6 days of the year, it reminds me to be thankful. It reminds me that time is not our friend, and there are many people who celebrate Christmas but do not get to celebrate New Year's Eve. Isn't it ironic? I know people who passed in the last week of the year, and it just goes to show that crossing over into a new year, that is the real celebration. Perhaps the Haitian in me looks forward to a hearty bowl of soup jumeau every year, because that's when my people got to be free. Now, for those of you who love the holiday season, I was told that most people who love Christmas and Christmas time are extremely depressed because it's all over. The fanfare has died down. I know some people don't even take down the Christmas tree. I have a friend of mine who decorates her tree every month to represent what's going on in that month. If anything, MLK Day is in 2 weeks, and she will be putting up an MLK tree. Whatever is clever. But for me, this time of year is not holly, nor is it jolly. It is a time that I look at the clock and I wait for it to end. This time of year insists upon itself in December. December is not my friend. Home.
It insists upon itself. Okay. I like that.
I hope y'all enjoyed.
Very enjoyable. Thank you so much. Good to have you back on.
Thank you for
And now,
having me.
if Mr. James Van Loy is there, we'll close the. Someone just gave Silent E the fish emoji. I'm assuming that's positive. It wasn't 100% clear, but I'm going to take it as a positive. Mr. James Van Loy, if you're willing to close out the first half of the first round, I should say, of the round robin open mic, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad. So I have a poem here called Common Art 2006. There really is a place called Common Art, which is over in Emmanuel Church on Wednesdays from 10 to 2 o'clock. And I used to go there back in the aught years after I did my workshop at St. Francis House. So anyway, and actually this poem has in it Ruthie, who was a real regular around Stone Soup back in the 80s. So anyway, Common Art 2006. Ruthie, at the Common Art program, raises up the name of the saint who she says walked on water. And this is densely theologically debated. The Air America report on a scientist who came up with an explanation of the parting of the Red Sea for Moses and the great escape of the chosen people now has posited that Jesus himself was walking on thin ice when he strode across the lake to calm the waters of the Galilean storm. As this rises from the depths of forgotten lost morning dream, this feat of geological and physical speculation, special dispensation of ice age into such mystifying earth process seems much more miraculous than if we saw the actual fingers of God support Christ's feet. Gravity, after all, is such a weak, slight force, unable to pull us through even the particle forces that hold us together on the very lowest floor of the material world where thought has left us. And here's a quick song. We away in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Away, 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 oh, whim away, whim away. Near the village, the mighty village, the lion sleeps tonight. Near the village, the quiet village, the lion sleeps tonight. Oh, whim away, 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 whim away. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Ooh, wee, oh, whim away. Oh, wee, oh, wee, oh, whim away, oh, whim away. Oh, whim away, oh, whim away. Thank you.
Okay. We are thanks to John for the Animal Kingdom as we circle back around past go, collect $200. I hope some of you do as we start the second round of this round robin all open mic at Stone Soup Poetry. Welcome back for 2026, everyone. And let's circle back to Rita Rusty Rose.
Thank you. This is a new one about our attack on our free expression. This is called Chalk It. Police misconduct, vandalism, do they curry favor with the president for political gain? Olga DeSantis shouts, rainbow walkways have no traffic purpose. His erasure of street art by socially marginalized LGBTQ and BLM is insane. But negative has turned positive thanks to national awareness via media circus. Diverse Americans are rallying at crosswalks to chalk rainbows. An onslaught on civil liberties provoked support because of the backlash. So now, do we do as our oppressors? Create murals of intimidation? Stoop so low? Paint the governor of Florida and Trump with toothbrush mustaches? Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Rita. And up next, we'll circle around back to Jan Rowe now, if she's around.
Okay.
There she is.
Okay, started a new journal for the year. Okay, so this is, I'm not a poet, but I used to teach high school writing, and sometimes we would use parallel structure, especially to get kids to remember who, what, where, when, why, and how, because sometimes when we're reading the scroll, they don't even say where this is happening, in what part of the country. But anyway, feel free to yell out the answer. This is parallel structure questions. Sometimes, okay. What jobs did Andrew Cuomo and Susie Wiley, who's the first female chief of staff, despite Trump calling her a tank and saying shit like, so what jobs did they do for Netanyahu? Netanyahu employed Andrew Cuomo and Susie Wiley. Okay. Now, question 2. Whose Vietnam was avoiding venereal disease? Do we remember who said his Vietnam was avoiding venereal disease? Nobody's yelling Donald Trump. Oh, there we go. We got a hand. Okay. Oh. Okay, what would the police do if the drunken spouse says, my wife can stab me if she wants to? That, my friend, she dented her husband's head, her fourth husband, Bethlehem Steel, with her new coffee pot and then blamed him for denting her coffee pot after she bashed him in the head with it. Okay. Now, here's another one. Who do Jared Kushner, Alito's spouse, and Hillary Clinton have in common? Who do Jared Kushner, Alito's spouse, and Hillary Clinton have in common? The lawyer Jamie Gorelick. She got Jared's security clearance. Okay. Here's another one. Why was fragging a development of the Vietnam War? The next question, how is fragging done? You just toss a live grenade in a commander's tent. And the last one, how many of those who attacked the Capitol have been recharged for some violent crime?
Over 30.
Thank you. He watches the same news I do. Thank you. That's it. That's depressing enough. Okay. I couldn't resist, honey.
Okay.
Thank you, Jan. And it looks like Richard Spizak is up, so you can stay unmuted and keep right on going.
Okay, this is in another vein. A friend of mine overseas, whose name is Bunny, asked me if I would write something about bunnies. She wasn't very specific. She had starting a new company. So, inspired by this mischievous spirit, I wrote this. This is called, now I'll only read part 1. It's a 3-parter. It's called The Bunny's Revenge. They decided they'd had enough. Fluffy and Butterball could barely cough. They felt they'd been pushed to the very edge. They'd had enough. They just couldn't pull that sledge. They couldn't take it anymore. The next night would be a new moon, according to lore, and the senior weather rabbit had announced that it would be cloudy, so even the stars would be under cover. They decided they would call a bunny barrage, a secret gathering of the fuzzy bunnies too big to hold in a rumpus room or even a garage. And all the senior council would be there, Bart and Barney Bunny, Barbara and Brunhilde Bunny too, and the capybara research team if they could escape somehow from the zoo. They would all be there. It wasn't funny, even if it cost scads of money. They would be presentations of the colorful exhibits by the brainiest bunnies on the block. They would catch those cats napping. This time, the kitties had pushed the bunnies too far. They'd pushed everything so far, everything except Well, perhaps the car. It had been a truce for years and years between the pussycats and the bunnies, who said they were just kittens with longish ears. Yet from time to time the bunnies would capture a kitty and taunt them mercilessly, calling them names and teasing them with the choicest carrot nubbins relentlessly. The kitties really didn't like hares, but it was a matter of principle. The average kitty didn't like hares, but even the tender, sweet ones, even if they were precocious and pretty. But there was something the kitties saw. If they couldn't have it, then they wanted it all the more. By golly, they wanted to have it. It was more than just a habit. After the incident last week, the truce was as cold as a stolen pizza from last week. Last week, a couple of cats had cornered a bunny and wouldn't release him even when he was crossing the highway on his way to the movies, which is why he did cross the road. The movie was very groovy. Why, you might ask, did the bunny want to cross 8 lanes of highway? Well, you might ask, these mean-spirited kitty cats, one by the name of Vanilla, the other who answered to Mascara, had stopped and blocked and held him upside down till that funny bunny nearly popped. Then they proceeded to mesmerize, simonize, evangelize, and even carbonize that cute little fuzzy bunny. And after a dozen hypnotic passes, Barnaby Bunny sat up straight, took off his glasses, and glared at them straight. He looked around, and with 8 lanes of traffic whizzing by, he leapt into the air and, using his big floppy ears, flapped his way over the mountains to glory. Or at least that's my story.
And now we know the rest of the story.
Yeah, there's part 2 and 3, but not for tonight.
Well, next week you'll know the rest of the story, I think. Let's go now to Miss Jackie Chow.
Okay, so I'm trying not to get kicked out. So I'm gonna read handwritten poems because when I try to open the files, I get logged off of Zoom. Okay, so these are 3 haiku that I wrote for the year of the horse, which is this year. Mounting a carousel horse, mom's outreached arms. Horses where his face should be, old scrapbook. Art gallery, horses galloping out of a painting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Bill Lewis, if you'd like to do a continuation.
Well, I guess. I mean, if you really insist, everybody's here. You've all gathered around to listen to my erudition that I suppose I can't turn you down. I do begin with an admonition, a warning, which I recently discovered. Do not go drinking with Venezuelans. Those people drink like fish. It's as if God came down and granted them their most favored wish. So watch out, those people drink. They are really, really drunk these days. It's party time. Back to Estonia. Yurichka Durichka, Yuri the Fool. It was Friday afternoon. Yuri had just gotten out of school and found Toeva and Johan standing 20 meters up Söderklostri, waiting for him, snowballs in hand. Yuri turned and ran toward the town wall next to the school. The snowballs hit him harmlessly in the back. They were chasing him, but he continued through the pedestrian arch at full speed. Whack! A big hard ball of ice and snow hit him in the rear ear. Carl had been waiting for him behind the arch. Carl grabbed another snowball and started after him. Yuri dashed across the street, up onto the side road, hit a patch of ice and slipped, falling face first on the crusty snow. Somewhere behind him there was the sound of a car horn and people yelling. Yuri lay dazed, struggled to get up, then felt a hand lift him by the collar of his coat. Yuri's ear was stinging from the impact of the snowball. His face was bruised and stung, his hands hurt. A man was yelling at him, but Yuri couldn't hear him. Several passerbys had stopped to watch. Are you stupid? The man was yelling. Do you want to die? If you had slipped in the street, that car would have crushed you. Boom! The man released Yuri and clapped his hands together. Boom! And you're dead. Do you understand? Dead. You were that close. Yuri nodded his head in short, jerky movements. He kept nodding out of fear and pain and confusion. Snowballs don't hurt. Cars do. The man softened his tone slightly. You're fine now. Just don't be such an idiot next time. The man looked him over, brushed off his face and ears, said, You're okay. They just hit you with a snowball. The man left. The onlookers turned and continued on their way. Across the street, Carl, Johann, and Toivo were laughing. Boom! Carl clapped his hands. Boom! Yuri made his way unsteadily up the sidewalk, across the sidewalk, and up the steps towards Tompeia. This side of the hill was quite steep, and the only way up was a long set of stairs that were carved into the hillside. In the summertime, there would be lots of people here, enjoying the walk and the view. In the middle of the cold winter day, there was no one. Yuri hung on the guardrail as he climbed, partially because the steps were icy, and partially because he was still dizzy and shaking. At the first landing, 50 meters up, Yuri stopped. He clung to the railing, then sat down. He was shaking hard. He curled up into a ball and continued to shake. Boom, he'd be dead. Boom, Carl would never throw a snowball at him again. Boom, nothing would ever hurt again. He would never be afraid, just one boom. No one passed Yuri as he lay on the steps. It was too icy and too cold to go sightseeing. He lifted his head and looked across the park below. 2 people were ice skating on the pond. A dozen or so were walking along Suur-Kloostri, where it entered this town wall, where he had almost gotten killed. The rest of the park was empty. It was just a wide, rolling plain covered with lovely white, pure snow. It was so beautiful. Yuri loved this park when it wasn't so cold. A gust of wind blew across the open face of Tompeia. Yuri realized that he was very, very cold. His face stung. He touched it and he couldn't even feel his hand. He uncurled himself stiffly and made his way up to the top of the staircase, another 100 meters up. The wind was stronger here, and he staggered across the outlook toward the streets of Tompeia. There's a beautiful view of the old town and the port from here, but he was too cold to stop and look. And I will excite you with his further adventures week after week after week.
Thank you, Bill. Mr. John Wezek, if you're willing to follow that,
Sure,
with or without
I will
fish.
follow. Let me piggyback off of Richard with the story from my book, St. John the Blasphemer. It's called Bad Book Reports, Moby Dick. Ishmael and Queequeg sign up as crew on the whaler Pequod. Their harpooning skills would have been useful, battling rabbits the size of tractor trailers in Arizona, but Pequod's Captain Ahab takes them on a futile voyage of personal revenge. This leaves rancher Dick Slaughter and exobiologist Chet Regret to deal with the bloodthirsty bunnies. The marauding rabbits devour Bob Cratchit, his wife, daughter Martha, and even Tiny Tim. Our heroes try to trap them in an abandoned plutonium mine, but the wily long-eared demons stomp the ranch hands guarding the entrance into meat paste with hind feet big as snowmobiles and eat their brains with teeth the size of grand pianos. So much for Jeb's lucky rabbit's foot. Slaughter and Regret set off explosives, but mere nitroglycerin can't stop these hares from hell. Rabbits then obliterate a PTA meeting in an orgy of gore, stomping everyone, including Mrs. Kirby, who gave me a D on my last book report. The fluffle of doom hops towards Tucson, raising dust clouds that can be seen from orbit by KH-11 keyhole spy satellites. In a desperate defense, Slaughter and Regret electrify a railroad track, call out the National Guard, and convince townspeople to attend a screening of What's Up Doc at the local drive-in. On Regret's signal, they turn on their headlights, blinded by the glare from 203 high beams. The giant rabbits stumble into Slaughter's trap. The smell of sizzling flesh fills the air as 20,000 volts zap the bloodthirsty cottontails, popping eyeballs like light bulbs and searing Leporidae livers like bratwurst at a backyard barbecue. Then the National Guard's M1A1 Abrams tanks open up with their 120 millimeter cannons. For four rabbits' feet and floppy ears fly everywhere. The drive-in's owner makes a killing selling Hassenpfeffer at the snack bar. And I'll put a link to my book in the chat.
Huge John. And I think Anna Jeffrey has another prompt poem.
Yeah, I do. Sorry, that was too loud. 15 minutes. Which if there's a record, I wanna hit the entire high score list. So Jackie sent a link to her poem on chainmail poetry, and I plucked a line out of it. That was the 7th day of the 7th month, and now there's a new poem that might suck, but it's brand new, so you're gonna flood it anyway, because that's how new shit works.
No shit, tough shit.
The 7th day of the 7th month finds the Thousand Girls Temple supplicants still stuck with the wives of Shallowheart, wondering how long they will have to wait for the rebirth of glory, wondering how long till they get to the violent part of the story, as if what happened between toxic spouses wasn't trauma porn enough. When a woman gets used to her body being used to soothe the tempers of her tethered torturer, she can struggle to see the horrors as they are, and they are impatient for healing, impatient for change, impatient with themselves and their recalcitrant brains. The meditation is working even when it feels like it's sticking, and the work is waiting, and in the mud of the abbess's past selves there is a path out, a lesson that took 1,000 cycles to master, and they are after a speed run samsara, learning for once from secondhand suffering that it was always enough, it was always time to leave, it was never too early, you can always walk away.
Thank you. And please submit that.
I'm gonna. I've had the Thousand Girls Temple like stuff rattling around in my brain, and I had no idea how to turn it into something useful. So thank you so much for putting a spigot on that thing. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Nice work, Anna. And Ethan Mackler, if you're willing to go again.
Yeah, I was wondering, Anna, do you want to try another online collab?
What kind of thing you want? Because I'm very reactive today, clearly. I just did 2 rapid front poems.
A minor key sort of thing.
Minor key. Okay, give me 2 seconds.
Chad, can you do the double the double screen?
I just
You're muted, Chad.
did it. You're both pinned.
Okay. You ready, Anna?
One sec. All right, yeah, I'm good.
All right.
I am an unreliable narrator, you say. I never know what's happening. You are too put together to bother with her. She forgets, she falls apart, she looks at things from wrong angles. You feel nothing about her. I can't stop feeling things. Life is a fire hose, and I am fighting all the time. I don't know how to function without a fight, and you are maddeningly unscathed. She is unplugged, malformed, unstuck from time. She is struggling and crying and screaming, and I am just trying to hold you together, just trying to get you through this, trying to find a light in the distance to point out. We just need to make it that far. You go through the motions. Sometimes you forget to breathe. She can't feel her face right, and I don't know how to save her. There are no walls between us. You feel the pit in your stomach, the creeping dread. You are where you are. Nothing's right. Her legs aren't real. Her body creaks like an old house. She only lives as metaphor, only speaks in metaphor. I write and write, and people say, what fantastic fiction, and you do not see that this is just reality from another side, that there is no skill here, no beauty, no trickery, no smoke or mirrors, just what I am splayed out, what she is pinned to the wall where you were and will be, and you are walking through like a dream, following a script you never wrote. She's chasing butterflies in a field because that's what dreaming girls are supposed to do. She isn't supposed to be there yet. You know what you're supposed to do, but you keep forgetting. Everything is out of order. She wanted to be something, but it didn't work out. Biology got in the way. The narrative got in the way. You can explain it all, make it sound rational, and no one questions it. Of course, she's like that. Nothing to be ashamed of. I'm not lazy. I'm not shelfish. I'm not manipulating you. This is inevitable. I am not in control. She's staring at the hair tie on her wrist. She can't look them in the eye. I'm not okay. She's trying to scream it, but nothing comes out. The face doesn't move. You can't deal with it right now. You're not going to deal with it. No one can make you. It's not enough. It's too late. She can't open her mouth. She can't be in the same place twice. And you evaluate your steps. Did you drink water? Did you eat food? Did you sleep? Like sleep could make a dent in this thing that she is, that you are. Like there's a chicken soup, a cure for crazy. You're not crazy. You are. She is. I am.
Great. Awesome effort. Bravo.
Thanks, Ethan.
Thank you.
Awesome as always.
Very nice indeed. I'll have to do a clip of that. And that was very enjoyable. And I'd like to bring up next Silent E. I think she'll also take requests. This time, I think I'm the only one giving requests. So I'll just request one that you wrote. I don't want you to have to stress and stress style again. 2 freestyles in a row might be a
Style.
pain.
I love freestyle. I love freestyling.
But 2 in a row? Good Lord.
It's a night for new shit.
Well, all
That's
right.
true.
So let me go off the dome. Let me go off the dome. All right. Um, I once read somewhere that David won against Goliath, but he lost to Bathsheba. Now, I don't know how that could be, because Goliath was the giant who towered over God's people and was a threat. But Bathsheba was an unsuspecting woman who was just taking a shower after her menstrual cycle ended. Matter of fact, the Bible is very specific. She had just got off her time of the month and she was performing her purification rituals. It's hard to believe that the boy who could slay a giant and still be the pervert on the roof who had no respect or self-control, they told him she was married. When he asked about her, they said, That is the wife of Uriah. When he asked about the giant, everybody was afraid. It's funny. David could slay a giant, but couldn't slay his own flesh. And yet, the patriarchy still demands that we blame Bathsheba. How is this Bathsheba's fault? It seems to me David didn't even have the cojones to go and ask her out himself. He didn't ask her out because it is not a mutual interaction. He sent his men over to her place and told them to get her like she was a carton of takeout. And we're still blaming Bathsheba because David was decided to be a pervert. I'm so glad that the Lord was not pleased with what David had done. And if you read 2 Samuel chapter 11, the very last verse will say exactly what I'm saying. I wonder if David knew that Tamar, Amnon, Absalom, and eventually Solomon would pay for his sins if he would have controlled himself and say, you know what? Because the sword will not depart from my house, let me not put a divide between a husband and a wife. After all, he was the king. He knew the marital laws. Too bad Uriah didn't take the bait. And he had Uriah killed for it. But see, that's a different part of the story. I'll say this. When it came to the violent execution of slaying a giant, he had no problem because the giant had been threatening God's people for 40 days. But when it came time to slay his own flesh, he must have forgotten where his rocks were. He must have left his slingshot somewhere, because that would have been the moment he should have slayed himself. Instead, he succumbed to his own whims. And let's be honest, if Bathsheba and David were alive today, Bathsheba would have been part of the Me Too movement because she didn't get a say. He sent his men over to her house. I wonder what was going through her mind as she steps out of the shower and is putting on her bathrobe to hear a knock on her door, and it's 2 palace soldiers that were sent on orders of the king. Did she even get a voice? Funny thing is, the Bible doesn't say what Bathsheba said. Matter of fact, Bathsheba doesn't speak until many years later when it's time for her to advocate for her son, Solomon. It's funny how the patriarchy within religion will still blame the victim. And this woman had no idea that she was being watched. Poem.
Oh, damn. Oh. Let's go to James. Looks like we have a new player, but let's bring up James Van Loy, and then we'll finish with another returning friend.
Hi, Chad.
Hello.
So I got a poem here called St. Francis at Stone Soup at Out of the Blue in 2013. St. Francis at Stone Soup at Out of the Blue 2013. There is a monk in the corner without a head, who must, I'm suddenly sure, must be St. Francis with only a concave depression where his neck should be. But then St. Francis probably found his head to be this extraneous appendage which only weighed him down when his heart with bloody wings was really just ready to fly around the world to accomplish more than we think. While above this decapitated saint is one of the overworked angels carrying a twig of laurel that stands out clearly as if to offer the saint the peace which is so regularly denied the rest of us when all of us are here in the midst of serial tropical storms which keep careening in from Mystery Island, while the interior, the national insides dry up, blow away, and then burn up the first responders, whose pop tents were not proof against fiery resins, whose fate escapes the kindness of St. Francis, whose arms still ritually enact benediction. If he knows, finally knows what we need and what we should become even without a head. And yes, indeed, he never really needed a head when he had all that beautiful winged high flying heart. And here's a silly Dutch song in Flemish. Is het is toif, gegonke met de apakat van matakapier, maar hij zijn nek wijd versleten, en ik vlieg bekan hem neer. En de tijde niks is reizen, nor Creveen of nor pointje, Felix somtijds in en prijzen, werd de vader hier aan zee. O, mijn blauwe geschöpfte, gij zijn mijn lievelingsdorf. O, mijn blauwe geschöpfte, gelikt in de bovenste schijf. Gezeik op een kat, de krak van mijn kat. Gezeik op een kat, de krak van mijn kat. Ik had een duive kat, de lifka. It was a vinnik and a nap. More moesoms up a difka, spilling up of it all scap. And then vloog it voor te vinden. Ik woe lifka zijn, kwam ik dan eens iets te pinnen. Dan was oive kat te klein. Oh, mijn blauwe geschöpfte, gij zijn mijn lievelingsdorf. O, meine blaue Geschöpfte, gelikt in de bovenste schijf. Gezeik op een kat, de krak van mijn kat. Gezeik op een kat, de krak van mijn kat. Ik zend het na en ik zend versleten. De verdoofde niet mee. Alle man is mij vergeten. Er is niemand die nog zei. O, meine blaue Geschöpfte, gij zijn mijn lievelingsdorf. O, meine blaue Geschöpfte, gelikt in de bovenste schijf. Gezeik op een kat, de krak van mijn kat. Gezeik op een kat, de krak van mijn kat. Gezeik op een kat, de krak van mijn kat. Dank u.
Just rolls off the tongue. Run now. Okay, let us to finish things off. We have not seen this individual in a while. Let's welcome up Mr. CC Ashagra.
Hello, hello, hello. All right, so
Happy 2026, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, happy 2026, sir.
Yeah, can you hear if I talk and play at the same time?
Yes.
All right, okay. For a while, I couldn't get the phone to do the musician thing there, or whatever it's called. So it's been one hell of a year, I'll tell you that much. So here I am. This is called The Sun's Coming Up. Originally written in 2000, so it's only a 25-year-old song. 26-year-old. Who will join me in my life? While we join with all life. I'm picking this one because the spirit of Jack Powers, he was all about inclusivity. Together we'll dream on for every next one. The sun's coming up, but it's really not morning. And I'm looking forward to your light in my life. Oh, I am in transition. My life, it's a changing, and the way it will be will not be what it was. So as I go through this and things become heavy, stormy and gray, and what feels like the end. Oh, I see that the ground and the long road before me might be a way to move past feeling stuck. Oh, now I'm getting tested by head. Oh, but at the same time that I'm living the story of my life, I might realize I create the course of my life and the weight of my burden, and realize my state of mind is my own choice. So I will try not to invest in what is depressing, lonely or sad, or what feels like the end. Because really the truth is, there's a new day dawning. So why not the next page of my happy life? Why not just let the fact that I traveled so far through my dreams just to get to my present chance? Now, as a result of all of my trials, I'll admit I've cried enough true tears to reach. Now there's plenty of poetry still living in me, plenty of songs that I haven't sung yet, and many a loving times that I haven't lived yet, many new hearts, perhaps even the one. Oh, the sun's coming up, and so soon will the light be shining on nature as it unfurls what's ahead. Who will join me in my life while we join with all life, and together we'll dream on for every next one. You see, the sun's coming up, but it's really not morning, and I'm looking forward to all your lights in my life. Happy. So I just started doing Go Live on my Facebook page, and I did my very first sort of, because I can't do this in public too much. I get nervous that I screw up. So I'm not apologizing every time I do a song saying, okay, I can't sing and I can't play, but I write lyrics. So I'm still doing that, but I try to do it after the song now. So, but the lyrics are coming along, and you know, poetry is really my love. But when it comes to people realizing that you're alive and they want to watch and listen and stuff like that, so I did this Go Live thing, and all of a sudden, you know, there's like over 1,000 people look at it. It's like, oh, you write a poem, it's like 5. But that's where the heart is. So anyway, what I like to do now, what I just did today, is I did a song, and then when I finish the song, I read it. So you get to hear that, you know, can't have it without the words or whatever. And that's it. I got a place to live. I moved 6 times in the last year, and it's been crazy, and I miss you. I miss you all.
See you back soon, sir. And I got to contact you later. But for now, it's getting late. The open mic has gone an extended route, went some directions and turns and whirls I hadn't seen before. At least not yet this year. Joke, this is the first time this year. I still saw some stuff I haven't seen since I started this. So this is nice. This has been lovely and wonderful. More features are being announced. More events are being put together, and maybe that live show will happen. We'll see we'll see how it goes. Until then, there are other things to plan. There's a muscle relaxer I need to sleep off, and Stone Soup is back. That's the most important thing. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Obligatory wave, possible workshop next week. 2 features lined up for the end of the month. More being announced and added as time goes on. So thank you all very much, and have yourselves an excellent evening. I hope you had a good end of the year, and I hope the beginning isn't too tumultuous for you personally, even as it is for the world. Hopefully you're sheltered in some way and loved. And with
Just
that,
a phase. Just a phase. The human species is still kicking.
it's kicking pretty hard though, a little
Yeah,
too
well,
hard. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Thank you all very much. Can be like this every week. All we need is you. Show's over. See you next
Look forward
time.
to hearing from you all. Ciao, ciao.
Take care.
Hey, Chad.
Yeah,
Controverse is on the 12th if you're free.
I'm gonna do
Also,
my best.
Silent E if you're around. Love to see you there too.
I'll do my best. See you soon.